Welcome everybody to the 21st T121 PODCAST. Today with me are the general crew. We have Morgan, we've got Kinger, and we've got Daly, and we've got Niall, and we've got Finn on the production crew. Today is another staff interview. Today we're going to interview the bald fella, which is Morgan, or Steve Sidwell, as everybody calls him on TikTok. Similar as the other ones with myself and Daly, we have all combined some questions, and we're looking forward to getting into it. But without any further ado,
No, who's your man?
This player has retired. Retired, yeah. I'm fairly sure he's retired. Is he retired? He's retired, isn't he?
I passed it to him for about 6 times.
Right, actually, I'm gonna double check this. I'm fairly sure he's retired, but he's a bit weird.
Fact checking.
Some production team.
But anyway,
Here's us picking them up, calling the production.
the first question is irrelevant to if he's retired or not. So, he has had 9 Ballon d'Or nominations during his career.
I have a player in mind. I'm not speaking until I know.
Okay, no, he actually is still playing.
Frank Reeve.
No.
Luka Modric.
No.
9 Ballon d'Or nominees.
But like,
So that's 9 different years.
Ballon d'Or is like the top 10. Like, what's a number?
Yeah, I think it's I think it's like top 30 or something. But he's been up. I don't know. But like when they first announced it, it's like, oh, it could be any of these 50 players or whatever. But to have 9, you have to be. Yeah, exactly.
I spoke there, didn't I? I said, I guess.
You said Ribery.
Manuel Neuer.
No.
Good guess.
I think that's too high. I think it has to be someone kind of less of a player. If they're 9 nominees, there's 50 players nominated.
Yeah, you have to be good for 9 years.
I'm thinking that's a shock that he's nominated.
Nah, it's 9 years in the top 50 in the world.
Who have you?
Might even be 30. I'm not 100% sure.
Luka Modric.
I haven't guessed yet, no. I'm going to go for Higuain, but he just retired.
What a terrible guess. 9 nominations. Man,
Decent guess.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
That's you.
Yeah,
He began his career at 13, starting in many outfield positions before becoming a
I
goalkeeper.
have a Joe Hart.
No, man.
Joe Hart! I have a Joe Hart.
When he was at the top.
No, he didn't do 9 years. He fell off like 26.
Jumped that. Was he a goalkeeper, is he?
Mhm.
I
He's a goalkeeper is the main part of it.
Buffon.
Yeah.
He's still playing.
Yeah, that we reconfirmed that. We confirmed.
Only.
He went back to
I only read
Parma.
that yesterday that he's still playing.
I was also going to say
For Parma. Is it Parma?
Yeah, he went back to Parma. Yeah.
Yeah, he's with Parma Serie B.
There
There's
you go.
also, I think it's 4 current World Cup winners in Serie B. Either involved playing Buffon, and then
Sasuke.
It's your turn.
Cannavaro.
Liam Carrigan.
It's 30 shortly. How's it
God
30?
bless.
Oh,
I know, Joe
that's
Hart.
pretty good.
I can't believe you said Joe Hart. 9 years.
I jumped. I heard the midfielder.
You didn't jump.
Centre
You.
forward. Now he's a goalkeeper. I just went.
Joe Hart. You know the way you were slanging his distribution? Did you see his thing the other day? His howler for Celtic?
No.
Trying to play out?
Yeah.
Oh, did you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Was it bad? Like super
In
bad.
Europe.
Super bad. Touches towards the targets. Look at him. Looks at the ball. Looks at him. Looks at the ball. Scuffs it. 1v1 pass. Go.
Hi.
Right, we'll start this.
So, Morgan.
Yes, sir.
Morgan Biggs.
Yeah.
My little brother.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm actually pretty good, yeah. Thanks
Yeah.
for asking. You?
Yeah, alright.
Good stuff.
Pretty good.
I'm pretty good. Had a good day.
Good. We kicked off the other interviews with a basic background. So give us your education, what you like to do when you were younger, family background, etc.
My name is Morgan Biggs. I was born 5th of July, 99. What's your other? Education. I went to school, same school, and we actually done a presentation there the other day to Finn and T1. I went to school in Maynooth, post primary. I went to primary school, same as Gene, to Floon when I was younger. And then I studied marketing in Maynooth University for 3 years. Absolutely hated it. Got the degree, got out of there. yeah, and that was during the lockdown phase as well, so like a year and a half. It was all remote. It was actually great. Not having to go in and travel in Tri-Point Park in Maynooth. Anyone who knows that? Not good. Not good. So that was my education, quite plain and simple. I didn't really enjoy school, to be honest, but I took a lot from G in terms of like being disciplined, getting your shit in order, studying things you don't want to, but you do your job. I was actually talking to Finn about this earlier, about no one likes doing homework. I don't know a single human in the world who does, but it's got to be done, so try to do it well. Get really good at doing the things that no one likes to do. So I essentially have my life mapped, pre-mapped from G, so I've been going off that for the last couple of years, and then just making it my own a little bit. So yeah, other than that, nothing mad interesting. Obviously, playing football, I thought I was going to be a pro baller, like every kid, but that vastly ended probably subconsciously. I was only thinking about this earlier, probably when I was like 13, 14, I knew subconsciously, not consciously, everyone still thinks you have a chance today. Subconsciously I knew I didn't want it, but obviously that was my life for years upon years, was chasing football, so I was very disciplined in that regard. But yeah, pretty simple childhood, to be honest with you. I enjoyed it. Yes sir.
Question, was
Yes,
it
sir.
like, on what you said there, was it one event or a time period that made that subconscious change, do you think?
To be honest with you, I still haven't dissected it,
Okay.
but there's a lot, like in quite simple terms, I hated playing football.
Who were you with that?
I made a jump from Maynooth, I was saying this as well in the presentation, Maynooth to Home Farm when I was like 12, 13, and at that time Home Farm were obviously big dogs, obviously still one of the top DDSL teams, but they were huge dogs at the time, and that was a big jump going from a Kildare based club and like a community club, as we know, Maynooth to Home Farm. And then yeah, in even in around that time, although the first year is exciting, you probably remember around the time like making a move to Dublin, standards, quality, like it really was at the time, and whole new setup, whole different like set of players you're playing against, playing with, just quality. Like you think this is the business, but I'd say yeah, like 13, 14, I was like, no way, is this for me? Subconsciously, I would have grafted through it at the time, like things I would have struggled with. I was again saying in the presentation yesterday, making a Dublin or a base or what do you call it, the transfer from Kildare based football to Dublin based football at the time when I was quite quiet was so difficult, so difficult. You had people in the dressing room who were personality wise like men, and I was nowhere near that. Nowhere near that. Obviously, I was a decent footballer, but at that stage, I was just not mentally ready for that at all. Obviously, when you make that jump, standards better, so it's very much about winning, which you need to learn about. But no, I wasn't ready for it. So I think at that stage, that maybe kind of started the decline very early in football. Whether I liked it or not, I had some great times. It wasn't all negative. Obviously, you have some great times. Playing. So when I went from Home Farm to Belleville, that was a good time. That first year I had in Belleville, I absolutely loved it. We had a really good team, really good team. But again, even like after a year of that, just didn't fancy it. Wasn't my thing. And again, yeah, at the time you're not aware of that, are you, as a kid, trying to articulate thoughts and about how difficult things are. Like in the dressing room, like I was saying, like Dublin-based kids, whole different story. Like you can argue like making that jump from there. It's almost like you're pretty much being bullied to a degree, but so that you have to grow up very quickly overnight over stuff like that. Now that wasn't exactly football related. That kind of goes away from the idea of why I stopped liking football or playing football. But that kind of triggers it, doesn't it? Like you have negative associations around the pitch. Outside of that, I don't think I think probably 7 or 8 times in my life I've been like, I'm looking forward to a game of football today. I'd say 6 of them were with the school team. Would you believe? Anyone? I know a lot of the lads who we played under the boys in the school team. It was unbelievable, wasn't it?
The school
The
team?
atmosphere.
Great crack.
The atmosphere was absolutely incredible. Everyone wanted to play. Everyone was dying to play for that team. You'd do anything to win. I remember I missed a penalty in a game and we got hopped off irregardless in the game, but I never felt more disappointed in my life, which was good. Obviously it's shocking at the time, but I actually cared about the game. I cared about my performance. Obviously I always cared about my performance. That's one thing I will say. I made sure I got my bread and butter correct and I performed well. And when I got on the ball I enjoyed it, but the lead up to a game, the trainings during the week, didn't fancy any of it. Now, I always applied myself, that's what I will say is, again, like I said, homework at the start. Things I didn't like doing, I had no problem doing them, it has to be done, and I applied myself very well. I tried to eat well, sleep well, do all the essentials, but yeah, from an overall point of view, it was not my thing.
That's funny, because I remember when we used to watch Morgan when we were younger. Like, I honestly have never seen a better child playing football in my life. And that's not being biased now, because I've seen a lot of talented kids.
Yeah, you know when you see kids and you always go, or you see players and you go, or your mind's be him, or your mind, like you'll always, like you see him playing now and it's like, oh, he plays like this player I used to coach for. I remember watching you, and there's not a lot, and even now I look back, there's not a lot of people I can go and go, oh, Morgan played like, or plays like, and then name the player. So it's quite unique to see something like that in a player, if you get me, like.
Yeah, like, as a player, so we had a new player in today and he was saying, who'd you play with? I was like, no one. Like, I played local, like, schoolboy football or whatever. And that's because everyone sees all the technique stuff and hitting daisy cutters and stanchion things and all, like, you only see the good stuff. But also, like, that is not my game. I think you mentioned it on the podcast when you were talking about Valverde and all, like, running and covering ground. That was complete opposite to who I was as a player.
Yeah.
So, like, no, that is correct. Sorry, so running and all, doing the basics well. I think in possession I was good, I was safe, I was tidy, I'd done my job. I had moments where you're like, yeah, that was decent, but nah, like, I ended up playing as a 6, played left full for 6 months, loved it. I loved the idea of learning a whole new trade and also just defending. I between 8 to 15, I don't think I made a tackle. Was not interested in it. Had no interest in doing anything off the ball. Like, I run,
Such a long range.
yeah, but honestly, I was never. Obviously, I made a tackle, but I was not. If I made one, it would just be like, oh, I want to go get on the ball. Not that I was like. Probably when I was younger, that jump from Kildare to Dublin is rough. I don't know what it's like now. Probably National League has mixed that up a little bit, but it was tough when you go from tippy-tappy football, everyone running around each other in Kildare to you were getting smashed up, and not just like whatever you're talking about hitting hard tackles. These were crunchers, and I was not ready for that. Like I said, that whole maturity phase. But yeah, like, I was so uninterested in that side of the game. And then when I got to 16, 17, I got a little bit bigger, obviously height-wise. But then I was also like, I need to get my act together. So I just was like, right, I'm going to change it. And the biggest difference, we get asked, like, how do I get better at tackling? How do I get better at defending? It's purely a mindset of going, I need to protect myself today, and that's it. And I started getting a little bit more aggressive. When I got the height, I could drop off a little bit. So I used to think I was a quality little number 10 getting on the half turn. I never progressed the ball. Like, I was not good enough technically or end product wise to play in the 10, although I thought I was at the time. You know, the little technical players, there was players just the same size as me who were scoring 2 or 3 goals a week.
You need to describe your physicality differences.
Yeah, oh yeah. So when I was up until TY, anyone who knows me, I was in TY. There's a photo of me in Tal, actually, right? We're the same size in it. I was like 5'6", 5'7" in TY, and then between TY and 6th year, I grew to 6'1", and that happened within the majority of it happened within 6 months. So I made a jump. Actually, it was in around the junior cert, possibly. So yeah, I would have been about 15. I made a jump to Knockline for a year because it was closer a little bit, as opposed to going to North Dublin. It was a little bit closer to South Dublin. And obviously, I think I played like 6 competitive games without being injured. Like, and that was it. I was injured for the whole year.
You talked about you didn't love football when you were younger, but you still had some good opportunities. That Belvedere team that you were in and the St. Kevin's boys team that you were in your league were probably the 2 best schoolboy teams probably in the last few years or like in the last decade. Can you describe to people what the emerging talent was like, and why do you think you were still getting those sorts of opportunities even though you didn't feel like you were enjoying the sport?
Jeez, it's a good question. Yeah, like, so, like, to give context, our Belvedere team was a real joke. Like, how good were they? And we couldn't get near that Kevin's team. To give context, that Kevin's team had Darryl O'Shea in it. At the time, we had top players like the wide Ryan Graydon, who we work with now, was one of the wide players. God, they were so dangerous. They were the same height as probably I am now at the time, and they were just so goddamn good. They were so far ahead of the curve, it was unbelievable. So playing in and around the players at Belleville, we were just about underneath them. We were beaten by them in an All-Ireland final. I think think it was only like 2-1, wasn't it, or something like that. I don't even remember the game.
I think it was 2-1.
So
Played left wing.
Played left wing. I was never a wing, by the way. Did not have the legs. But yeah, then lucky enough. So at the time you had North and South Dublin emerging talents. You had like, I know they have something similar now, don't they, like centre backs and stuff. Do they?
Yeah.
I don't think it's the same.
It's different now.
There's also no National League players in it, so you'd argue, not that it's always correct, but the best players in the country are playing National League. Not always true, especially when it comes to the peak 19s and you get the first team. But at the time, it was the DSL was the thing, right? So obviously that doesn't seem like long ago. Even around your age, DSL was probably still, it's like you play in the DSL, you've got to be a good player. There's no two ways about it, especially in the top 4 or 5 teams. You've got to be a good player to be in and around it. So yeah, when I made the South Dublin merged talent, like Darragh O'Shea was in that team, Mark Travis was our goalkeeper, Sean Callan played centre half. Obviously Sean's not playing anymore, but Sean is absolutely quality. Like our squad was a joke. And I actually did enjoy that phase of football. Like I liked being in around like, really good players. Because I actually thought I was better around good players. I probably didn't feel like I had to influence games as much because or wasn't as much pressure on me. But to flip that on its head, in the school games I loved the pressure. I had to perform. Like I was obviously you're your younger brother, but I was the captain as well. So like you have to earn. I really thought I had to earn my right to be that, because I was thinking everyone's thinking Morgan's the captain because Gary and Daly, and he's sure Gary's brother and Daly's best mate, like one of the boys. That I was just like, you're handed the captaincy, so I felt like I had to earn the right to do that. So I always made sure I covered the most ground. I was first training for last day of training, so on and so forth. Try and make everyone feel welcome. But to flip that on its head in the emerging talent, like I was a very small fish in a very talented pond. So I felt like I didn't have to do all that. Like even at the time, like Neil Ferrugia and all would have been in that squad. It was ridiculous. That phase. So I don't even know how long that was. Probably about a year and a bit.
Yeah, it was 18 months.
Yeah.
Were you at one of those merged talent games? You came to the North versus South one with me, I think, in the AUL. I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Oh, I think we did.
Yeah, I think we were.
Yeah. It was on the kind of pitch to the right behind the Astra.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
yeah,
the first, like you know that.
Oh, I love that pitch.
Class pitch.
Yeah.
Class pitch. We played under the lights there, and it was such a good occasion because although it means nothing now, like that was the best players in the country at the time, bar 4 or 5. Like Aidan Keenan was our age. He's currently
Jason
playing.
Lumby.
Yeah. So, but he was was Jamie Lumby? Was he playing here at the time?
He was, yeah.
Yeah. So Jason Lumby, all them, but they were all in the international squad. So Aidan Keenan as well at the time. He went to can't remember who was in Scotland.
He was your age.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, and funny story about him, he came to an international trial, and I was so ignorant at the time thinking, oh, why is there anyone outside of Dublin here? And I was like, wow, he is good. Wow, he is good. He scored a hat-trick within like the first 20 minutes of a trial game. I was like, who are these lads? Ridiculous and talented.
Was that an Irish trial?
Yeah, an Irish trial, yeah.
Where's he from?
Sligo.
Yeah, Sligo. I think he's from Sligo.
Oh,
he's
is
playing with Patsy Cork now, yeah. Oh, he's a joke. He's still a joke. Have you seen him? He's unbelievable. But it was players like him. I was like, Jesus Christ! I don't know what's going on. Yeah, thinking there's literally south, north, and nothing else in between that.
Your 99
Incredible.
age group is one of the best age groups that Ireland's ever produced.
Yeah, very good. And even the amount of players that like I would have played with that aren't playing anymore. Obviously, you get that every year, don't you? Like, there's always been jokes and whatever. It doesn't work out, or they don't. They're not arsed with football. But yeah, like our age group was absolutely incredible. And again, what I will say is, it all probably sounds like doom and gloom, like I hate football and stuff, but I think it's the best thing that ever happened to me, because I never was going to play pro football. Even if I got the opportunity, I don't think I would have taken it at the time, because it just wasn't calling to me. I thought it was. Football is obviously my passion, but playing it isn't. But I learned an awful lot from playing it, and I don't think I would change the hardships of it. I would have liked to enjoy more games. Because like people that even ask me now, oh, do you not go back and play? You're still so young. I would never go back and play.
Question there. This is kind of a bit of a follow on.
Mm-hmm.
Then I want to hear, why did you stop playing then when you finished school? Why? Is it kind of like a follow on of?
Pretty much. Like I think I'd mentally signed off 6 months prior. Do you remember how I decided I was going to finish? So my biggest issue was, right, and I know he's going to be listening to this, I couldn't tell my dad that I was going to finish. My dad loved it, loved bringing me, love being around games. Of course, I'm probably going to be like that with my son as well, or daughter, depending. Hopefully, if I have one, son or daughter, hopefully so. But like telling your dad that you're like, I'm done. And I was young, like I was 18 when I started. I was still young. I had a great year. I really enjoyed it. Actually, I'm probably underselling my time at Kevin's. When the National League and stuff was on, I played at Kevin's, a fantastic manager who really looked after me. Mick Dempsey's a really good guy to me. When I was injured again, I was still going through that injury phase. They kept me on for. There was good players coming in, and they just kept me on, and then eventually I became his captain, and unbelievable. I really enjoyed that phase of football because I knew for the final year, this is my final year. So I played with no pressure. I was like, this is it. I'm not trying to do this to make a career. I'm just doing it to play and do my business.
Do you not think you'd enjoy it now then? Because
no, because I know if I go back now, I play in a senior group on a Friday. I need to win. If I don't, I'm in a bad mood. That's a big issue, and I find that very difficult to competing. I think everyone should be like that, not to that degree. I think you need to switch off after a game, but like I'm extremely competitive in how I go about my business. So. Like, I know it sounds stupid, but I think everyone should be competing to win. I remember I haven't played a five-a-side with you in years in our group of mates because I'm playing a fiver and there's no one running. I'm not going to play. What's the point? If you're not going to try and win, what's the point in playing? No, you have to enjoy the thing, but I think how can you enjoy it if you're half doing it? What's the point? And that I think that's a good trait outside of football now for me, but I think it's probably one of the worst things for me in football because I don't think you can be like that and be a top level player. Well, to some degree, you have
you
to
don't
be obsessed
think you
with
couldn't play. Like you said, the last year at Kevin's was good. You've no pressure, but you think if you went back playing that you'd.
I think I got
make
back to
it
that mentality.
More pressure on your
And even playing in front of people. So sorry, let me get back to the point about my dad. How I said it, I couldn't say it. Would you believe it? Couldn't say it. So I wrote it. I wrote a whole list.
No, right.
Not a list. I wrote like essentially a letter about as to why I'm quitting, and my mum walked in on me crying, writing it, and I gave it to Dad. Yeah, that was it. Jesus, that's how I finished. Yeah.
How important was it that for you in football?
Crazy, so good, and even Ma as well. So good. They looked after us so well, like bringing you to games, trainings.
two legends.
It's incredibly appreciated. Obviously, like it takes an awful lot of commitment to do that. Obviously, Dad was obviously running the business at the time, and my mom was trying to pick up the scraps at home, and like it doesn't sound too chaotic, but it was very difficult. And he was always there on time. I'd never missed a training session. Unbelievable, I have to say. So I really do appreciate them for that. It's nice to say it on camera as well. At least they get to see it. No, the two of them absolutely incredible. That's the only way, probably the best way to describe it.
I forgot about that. That's very interesting, and that kind of. Sorry, can you even ask a question? I will get.
No, I'm enjoying it. I'm viewing. I was eating every word, yeah.
I had one question, right? Because I know you very personally, obviously, and we're best mates and stuff, but I wouldn't consider you particularly an open person at all. I think you're quite a hard nut to crack at times. But I think you have shown me in the last few years how creative you are with ideas. And now the fact that you had to write those things on paper rather than say it is an interesting thing. So you can tip away from football with this question, or you can stay within it. But describe to me your creative flow states.
It's a great question.
It's a very good question. I didn't know. I still no. Okay, I am a creative person. Obviously, you look at what I do day to day. Some people would obviously consider it very creative. I actually don't. To be honest with you, I don't see myself as this massive creative person. When I think creative, I generally think of someone like Niall or like Finn
Or Tal.
like Tal was going to be my next one. Someone who's there's just so much going for them that they just constantly seem to be popping up with things. I think my ideas are very practical, and they're just like, think of something, do it. Think of something, do it. And again, I know some people can't articulate thoughts like that. So in terms of like a creative workflow, I take a lot of inspiration from other people, and I try and make it my own. I know that's what the general creative process is, isn't it? You take some things, make it your own. But like, whatever it was, especially with Training121. So one of the reasons you're talking about one thing why I quit football, I stopped playing football. Training121 was brewing inside me for a year. So I made the page, for anyone who doesn't know, in 2016 when I was in transition year. I made Training121 the page, and at 16 I had a clue what it was going to be, but I knew there was something there. And I said to G one day, and he only reminded me of it not so long ago, that I wanted to do something with two interests I had, which was photography and videography, and then football.
Well,
I don't know what it's going
To
to be.
quote the line, this is when he was a kid, right? He said, I'm going to do something in my life that involves photography and football. That's what he said when he was, I think it was 10 or 11, even younger, which is crazy.
That is a bit mad, like, but
Before social media as well.
yeah, I know, it's a bit, it sounds like a Hollywood movie, doesn't it? It sounds a bit
It is gospel though. It is gospel.
Yeah, I know, and I genuinely, I do remember actually saying that at the time, but like, yeah, in terms of like creative workflow, I go through phases where I'm like sitting on Canva all day, just banging out random stuff. So I think it's interesting, or I seen something inspiring, and I was like, I'm just gonna go do it. But I'm much more brick and mortar. I like to like be active every day, like doing something. I don't mean physically active. Obviously, we are on pitch and stuff, but I like to be like doing something, working away at something all the time. And again, when you're running your business, I'm the only one who's full time in Training121. For anyone who doesn't know, so I essentially have to do everything, like little bits of everything. Obviously, the lads do an awful lot as well, but like the boring, laborious tasks, I'm the one who has the most time on my hands, so I have to do it. So that probably takes away from that a little bit. I think going long term, when we get more really good people on boards like Kinger, Finn, Nilo, anyone else we bring in long term, that will clear me up, and then I'll probably give you a better answer as to what like my creative workflow is. Like again, like I said, I don't think I'm a massively creative person, but I can see something and I can do whatever that means.
You talk about practical. Talk about the story about King Kong and the practicality of the creative side of man.
Yeah, so anyways at the presentation, no.
Yeah, what was that? I just see the presentation, I was like, what?
I know. He came up to. Do you remember what I said when he came up? I was like, the bleeding King Kong fella. I felt like a fool.
Yeah,
So I was like, gee, next slide, King Kong's there. Right, to give context for what it is. Because everyone's like, what are you talking about? The Peter Jackson film in 05, yeah? King Kong?
Yeah.
Cracking movie. Have you seen it?
I think I played the video game on PlayStation.
Okay, you've unlocked the childhood. Can you go back to the intro and can I talk about that game? Unbelievable, that game. Unbelievable.
I think I played it once in my auntie's house or something. I just have a core memory of it.
It was sick. That's quite sweet. Anyway, the 05 movie. I really like the movie. It's like 2 hours long, but
3 hours.
It's very long. But with the DVD pack, there's a behind the scenes, right? And this is not just a generic behind the scenes. This is a proper behind the scenes that goes into so much detail about every nook and cranny about how they made the movie. I thought it was the most fascinating thing I've ever seen in my life. I used to watch that. Ask my mum. We had the portable DVD players, the ones you can just put generally for the back of the car. I used to watch it every single day. Every single day. It's like 3 or 4 hours long. Every single day on repeat, because I love the process of how they created something. Now, like that, one of the things I mentioned in the presentation as well is like, I remember very vividly, they were creating these sounds for the noise of the Brachiosaurus hitting the rock, right? And it was just things on the ground. They were dropping different things. Like, don't like the tone of that, like the tone of that. And it was showing the literal trenches of them doing it. And I just thought it was absolutely incredible. It probably sounds so boring to anyone else, but I just thought the process of trying to get to something, and obviously you create a movie, so it's content creation, I guess you could say, so that obviously is an interest to me. But the process of a team coming together for an end goal and being creative in that process, and obviously I like the movie as well, so the association was good, but the level of detail that they all went into, I was just obsessed with it. And there's probably things in that part that we're watching out like, that is why there's something going on in my head, or because when you're in your childhood phase, we all know, and I still need to dissect my childhood. I think I haven't had any chance for input in years. I think growing Training121, I've said again to Finn earlier, 5 years I've just output, doing something, constantly pushing it out, because obviously Training121 is everything to me apart from my family and relationships and stuff, but it's everything to me. So you're giving it everything, output all day every day. So I haven't got the chance to take much input in or dissect my childhood in that way. So I think if I go back through like seeing something like that, I think it would just trigger something like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, that why I like this or why I like this style thing. Not now, obviously that's just one example, but yeah, I think it's mad how much that actually influenced me when I was younger. Because to anyone, a kid should not be watching behind the scenes. Not like behind the scenes where everyone's happy and that. This is like a production team in the trenches doing stuff all day, every day. And I thought it was absolutely fascinating. Like, and that's obviously stuck to me till now, whatever it is. Yeah.
Question?
I'm intrigued to see what King is.
My questions. They don't go with the conversation we haven't so far.
That's good. That's good. That's
Who's your
or an interjection?
intermission?
this? Yeah, I'll call it intermission definitely. This one is who's your celebrity crush?
Oh my god.
It's definitely an intermission. Take a break.
It's definitely King Kong.
Yeah, the King Kong fella. Yeah.
Peter
Here's man
Jackson.
that plays that Andy Serkis. I was talking to Amy about that. Amy's gonna slay me for everything I say here. Sorry.
Growing up, like it doesn't have to be now.
No, growing up, genuinely, no one. Growing
Really?
up, no. No, I swear to God, it was just literally football and King Kong. That was my life. I swear to God. I swear to God, there was nothing. There was no input there. Nothing. Now, like, to be honest with you, I'm not even mad into, like, I know people. Do you know the way people have like obsessions? You were obsessed with Selena Gomez, for example. Like, loved her. Loved her. Like, that's in the air. That's not even something that. It's not even a joke anymore. That's just a fact. But like, to go someone specifically, I'm gonna say one person. I'm gonna say one person because it's always been brought up around, and Amy will be like, as soon as the question is asked, she'll be like, oh, it's this person. So it's Margot Robbie.
Come on.
Like, it's a generic one, to be honest with you. And again, like, I don't don't really have a celebrity crush, but if you're thinking of
you
someone
never
new,
had a
no,
celebrity
I'm still like
Never.
That's
That's
good.
not my thing.
Good.
Good question though.
Do you know one?
Do you have one?
Yeah.
King?
Yeah, probably, yeah. I was big into Hannah Montana when I was younger.
Class.
Miley Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus, but I
Nah,
used
Hannah
to watch,
Montana.
when I was
Two
younger,
different people.
swear to God, I watched Hannah Montana until I was about 14. And
That ended way before that.
honestly, I watched it when I was 14. And then when Miley Cyrus went off the walls, I was like, wow.
What have I done?
It was a bit kind of like, uh-oh. But
This
yeah,
podcast is
back-
taking a
I don't actually know what she's like now, but definitely the younger Miley was the Miley I was into.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Right.
That was so funny, Kate. That wasn't intermission.
That was a very good
That was
question.
excellent.
I guess.
God, it was so funny. Do you want to go next?
Yeah,
Alright,
yeah.
you go next. You go next.
Best piece of advice you have ever been given.
Honestly, this is where I'm useless. I'm terrible for recalling the past. Apart from like things that are so standout, no one's ever said anything to me like one-on-one and be like, I needed to hear that, and I think that's actually an issue. I don't think I was, especially as a footballer, I had some great role models and stuff. Like I said, I had a fantastic relationship with Mick towards the end of my career, my gaffer and Kevin's. I also had some other great people. I'm probably leaving people out, but there was nothing like really stand out where someone said something. I was like, I needed to hear that at this moment, and that's something I can really live by. Obviously, listening to stuff now, I've only started really listening to podcasts. I've started rereading and stuff, because I made a mental decision like 2 months ago to be like, I've been all output the last 5 years. I need to start taking in some sort of input just to change my thought processes and stuff. So that has been nice, to be honest. Every so often it's tough when you're obviously run the business and you're on the pitch all day. Time is valuable. Time is the most precious asset we all have. So I found it difficult to take in any sort of input, and recently I've started doing that, which is nice. But I never once, like I said, has someone said something to me, I'm like, that's the one. I need to hear that, or just general advice. I get good advice. Obviously, I don't like listening to advice and stuff. I like seeing people operate. So seeing you two go open, how you guys go about business. Not even just business, it's just life. Like, you're completely different to G, I'm completely different to G, although we've all got similar characteristics. Even like Finn, for example, and people who are younger than you, or older than you, or anyone in between, I like picking up little pieces of information from as many different sources, not just one standout piece of advice to live by that. I think I'm ever growing, so I'm only 23, so I think everyone probably should be constantly evolving anyway, but definitely now, like, I don't take one piece of advice from one person and just like go, right, that's it, I'm chasing that. I'm kind of constantly taking nuggets, I presume you could say, from everyone, and just molding it into whatever seems good to me, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider you a philosophical person yet,
No.
at your age. But to be fair, I think we kind of turned the corner, didn't we, in our mid-20s, Gary, about like bigger questions about ourselves and about life and stuff. I don't know, I think it's an age thing.
Yeah, I think I will eventually.
Yeah, it's
And you're
interesting.
not saying that we're like 25,
Mm-hmm.
20, 12, 20. Nearly
Fuck,
27.
Cut the 2 years off.
Yeah.
Skip 26.
Well, saying that, it's like, what do we even know? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%, man.
But you'd be surprised though. I think young people, 26, 27, I think we understand ourselves for how much information we can take in, and like how we've got life experience. I know people older than us, they've got more years on earth, but that doesn't mean they've used the years quality, like quality years,
Oh, yeah.
quality
There
time.
is people
We
that
surround
focus.
ourselves with really good people, I'd like to believe, who are constantly trying to push you to get better. And when you're running a business alone, that by itself, that's enough to teach you about yourself and about other people. It's
I agree.
incredibly tough to do.
I agree.
This is not for someone who's going to have to do anything. You won't exist. We're only, like I said all the time, we're only early doors of what we're doing. The fact that we have an opportunity to sit here with 4 mics and speak, and hundreds of people are going to listen to this, is incredible. And this is not easy to do this. So you learn an awful lot about yourself when you're doing things like this. So I think like that, I think we undersell ourselves, but also on the flip side of that, you need to be constantly trying to learn, grow, and the more time, the more experience, the more wiser you get, you start to learn a little bit more about yourself, about other people. And again, where I'd say I'm very uneducated is definitely like in things like just general, like I know this is a broad enough, but politics and stuff, I haven't a clue. I haven't a clue. And to be honest, I still have no interest, but I still want to know. I should know more, and that's something I'm trying to get better at, and that's what I'm saying. Lack of input. That's what I'm going to start trying to pick up on. So like that, I've started listening to some really good podcasts, just to make me ask more questions of things going on in life. Because in school and stuff, when we were walking around the school the other day, I was thinking these kids are not thinking about anything, bar going home, doing their homework, playing the PlayStation. There was nothing else going on. Nothing else going on. I can almost guarantee it, and hopefully that changes. Where, and I'm sure, like you look at Finn for example, Finn's on it, but I think there's very few Finns out there, especially from such a young age, who are trying to constantly learn something and go outside the boundary, because school is very much tunnel vision, isn't it? It's like, I'm in school every day, up at this time, in here, go home. If I have an external sport to do, then great. If I'm into music, whatever, literally whatever your pastimes might be. But that's it. Like there's nothing else really going on, and the school system doesn't really help for teaching things or how to learn different things from different perspectives and stuff. So, I think essentially what I'm saying is like you're constantly evolving as a human. For our age group, I think we're somewhat educated in life, we'll say, not more, well for me anyway, not more so on the broader topics and questioning more things.
I got a good question for you. What can you do today that you couldn't do 1 year ago?
That is a really good question.
Like me anything.
No, there's a couple of things going through my mind actually. I thought I'd struggle with answering some of these things. I was saying to Ellie, I'd feel confident responding to most questions quite quickly. But some I was actually thinking about earlier. I was like, Jesus, there's going to be some questions that these might ask me. I won't have an answer. Because like that, I'm still a couple of years younger than you lads. You've got a little bit more experience. You're also very much too, you're very good for listening to stuff. I'm saying you two because you're one of the direct influences in my life. Obviously, we talk to you every single day, live with you and so on and so forth. So like taking in information from that constant source is difficult to do. But to go back to the question, I think one thing I've definitely got better at is understanding my time. And by that, like, and I'm still poor enough at it to be honest. Like when I spent time with Amy a year ago, I was just working. That's all I was doing. That's all I was thinking about, which is an issue. I think I've got better at that now. I'm trying to get better at it. Like delegating. Like I was thinking about a podcast. I was listening to a podcast, about it earlier as well. Like, and you said it in the presentation, I think, where we're saying if you're gonna go play Xbox and all, that's absolutely fine to go enjoy it. But you're doing that time with intent, and that's time to switch off. So like that is the intention now. You shouldn't be doing anything else. That if you're going to switch off, that's what you're doing. But just as much you should apply yourself to work during the day, you should apply your time to whatever it is. So when I'm spending time with Amy, for example, I don't do anything else outside Training121 bar spending time with Amy. That is literally my life. I went out yesterday evening because I had a friend of mine home from Australia that I went to school with. That is so outside my radar to do anything that is outside Monday to Friday that is work is strange to do. And again, I think a year ago I would have felt guilty for volunteering that time up. I should be doing things like that. But again, I think that delegation of time and understanding that there's infinite time in the day, well not infinite time in the day, but there's a lot of opportunity to have quality time in the day, and I still need to get much better at it, but like understanding if I'm there to relax when I see Amy on a Thursday evening, well, that's what I should be doing. And I know some days you're running a business, it doesn't stop. You are putting out fires and thinking about stuff all day, every day. I don't think you can change that, but I'm getting a little bit better of like, right, I should be having fun and relaxing here. That is tough to do, and I struggle with that massively, especially when we're starting out, when we start to get a little bit bigger. I really struggle with that. I think I'm getting a little bit better at it now. So the difference between last year and this year is quite big, and I think over time I'm going to still slightly get better at that. Obviously, there's a lot of time I won't even notice it, but I'll be on my phone going through DMs, and because I wouldn't be able to get to that during the day because I was too busy or whatever, and that's an issue. And again, you need to find the happy balance between the two. But like the delegation of quality time, not just quantity, I'm getting a little bit better at. I'm still trying to, of course, get better at it, but I think that's a big difference between last year and this year.
Do you know the question, Gary or Kinger?
Come on, Kinger, hit me.
I'm gonna take Kinger again.
Intermission
Let's see
number
where this
2.
goes. Roll the dice.
What's your favourite
Might get
number?
There's a few that are not great. One of them's favourite. Well, we'll do a quick fire and then I'll give you a more of a normal question, right? So we go favourite TV programme is the quick fire.
Easy. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah.
So simple. Yeah, I am obsessed. So I've got a pair of runners. I was explaining this to someone the other day. One of our clients. I think it was Ben, wasn't it? I think you were there when I was talking about it. Ben was getting 2 shout-outs on 2 podcasts. The neck.
Oh yeah.
So they can't swing a ball in with me and G or sticking our head in.
Bill and Benjamin. Oh,
Oh, that was gas.
Kinger, I need to show you the footage of your clearances.
Burn
They're
that
so
footage.
bad. They're
Burn.
so
You
bad.
can put that in with the bloopers.
So I have a pair of runners I got custom done during lockdown, just pure impulse, but I love them. Air Force, right? But the left runner is it's Always Sunny themed, so it's yellow and orange, and it has like the Always Sunny logo like painted in here. It has the Wrexham logo because the Wrexham owner is Rob McElhenney, who also is the Always Sunny producer and writer. Then it like has other things on it that represent things in my life. And then the right shoe is The Office. So it's 2 different TV shows because The Office would be my second favourite, the US Office. I love them both, that's like grey and black. But also on that I've got the initials of, so my family would be like here on the Air Force. So it'd be like J, G and B. So that Joe, Gary and Bernie. And then I have all the lads also initials down the bottom. So it's like
Sick.
G, Daly, Tal, Tim, Paddy, Alan and Daz. Everyone's on the back of it, so like everyone.
No
Yeah.
way.
That's on the
I
back of
even
the
knew.
runner, and you can see it
Did
like
you
it's
not
all
know?
just
No.
I would say, yeah, just painted on, and then also like for obviously Amy's on it, but like when we first met, we actually went to school together from 1st to 6th year. She was in my class from 1st to 3rd year. We never, to be honest with you, romantically it was never a thing. I remember once I did
2
throw her
falls on the ball.
in a history class, and we obviously refer back to it now, it's quite funny, but when we when I started making a move I started making a play, I was slagging her because she couldn't reach her bag. She's got tiny little arms. She couldn't reach her bag, and I was slagging her saying she looks like a T-Rex or whatever it was.
Classic.
Getting in there, making a play. And anyway, I have like the bones of a T-Rex on the runner as well to signify that. So I really like things like that. Now,
Symbols.
pure impulse.
How much do they cost?
They cost like
£200.
like €250,
£200.
maybe more.
But if you have them forever though,
£200.
that's sick. Same as a tattoo, and that's
Yeah, pretty
it's a
much.
similar
And
meaning.
again, I should wear them more. So to be honest with you, I feel a bit more though wearing them around.
Yeah, I could
Production
check
names
it out.
from them, oh, look at them.
Yeah, no, sorry about that.
You should wear them next podcast.
Joe, I will. Just
Yeah,
for vibes,
fact,
I'll wear
yeah.
them. I will wear them.
They're
They're dirty now.
class runners.
I actually rate them. I know some people like the yellow and orange is funky. To be honest, it's very funky. I actually rate them. I think they're cool, and I'm huge into runners. So I just thought that'd be cool to bring up. But yeah, so Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I'm obsessed with it. No word of a lie. Since TY, I've listened to it. I fall asleep listening to it every single night. I can't sleep in silence. So it is on every single night of my life.
And then one more
I
serious
can't do that.
question is What's your favourite thing about 1-to-1, or you're most proud about?
Oh man.
What are you most proud of?
It's a good question. There's one thing everything, right? So I know that's a generic answer, but everything about building a business with people you not just care about, but like love and really appreciate is amazing. I think we're doing really good things. To be honest with you, I think we should be quite proud of ourselves and what we're doing. We're only getting started though. One thing I will say that probably most people don't get to experience is building a team. So getting yourself involved, getting the lads involved, it's going to grow. With people, we wouldn't hire you if we didn't care for you or think you brought value. So that is very nice to do when you bring people together. Like you two were out there, or like you hadn't met prior to T121. That's very cool.
Yeah, we were talking about that today.
That is very, very cool.
I screenshot that photo of Niall and you, put it in our chat today and said, "This is fucking time."
I love it.
That's gas.
Form relationships and like Finn, you obviously never would have came across Finn in your lifetime if it wasn't for Training121. And obviously, we all get on very well. In fairness, you wouldn't be hired in your first 10 staff. We were only discussing this the other day. Your first 10 staff have got to be in there with you. Because if you're half doing something now, obviously, hours wise, we're the 3 founders. We should be doing the most work, and we do as we should do. But every hour that you come in, you've got to be bang on it. So we have to trust you big time to do your business, irregardless of what it is. And we're lucky enough to say that is the case, and it's nice building a team. One of my biggest principles, I was thinking about this earlier because I thought one of you's philosophical headers was going to come in with a big, what's your values and all. I'm not prepared for this. I'm not prepared for this. Yeah. So there's one thing I really appreciate is that's loyalty. And I think that kind of falls under the bracket, doesn't it? Like, I trust that you guys will do your job when you come in. I think that's bare minimum. I think if we ever need anything extra, I think you get off your arse and help it towards the cause, which is nice. And building a team of good people who are trying to do good things and to be somewhat not in control of that, it is very much like, for the 3 of us, we're not much older than all of our staff, and like me and Niall are the same age. It's like communicating here as opposed to us down, which I like. I think that's how a lot of things should be run. So that's nice. Building a team that you actually care about is very powerful, and when you actually have output to that, which we're starting to see now, reaching an awful lot of footballers, reaching an awful lot of things outside that. Like, we went on a live yesterday, and the amount of countries that were on that is incredible. Like the amount of people that you can actually influence in some way, whether that be in a football perspective or a life perspective, that takes a whole team. That's just not one person. It takes a whole team to put that message across. So yeah, building a team is probably one of the most proud things, I guess you could say. And it's only going to get bigger, I hope, anyway.
The team includes the community as well.
100%. Yeah, 100%. It's a whole effort. I know that's probably like a most generic thing to say, but like, T121 is nothing without the community of people on socials, those who actually come into sessions, those that have helped us outside of that, those that try to spread the word. It's a collective effort. That's why I love collectivity. Even I wouldn't like to play daily the game of FIFA, but I'd love to play with them. I love that. Me and you against someone. Yeah, I love that. So me, G, and a lot of lads, we play Rocket League, like Fall Guys and all. It's a joke, right? It's a mess.
It's not a joke.
But Rocket League's not a joke. Like, we are a collective trying to win something. And again, that stems down to, like I said earlier, my competitive nature. But to have a group of people, and again, I know Xbox is a dramatic example, but to have a group of people that are all pushing towards the same goal and all get on and are pushing towards something, I absolutely love it. And I think we're chasing something bigger than football with T121. So to do that with people you obviously get on with and care about, on top of reaching a really big community, and when the community get behind you as well, it's very rewarding. But again, this is probably the first time I've ever thought about it, never spoke about it, because again, I'm very much, I'll probably forget about this tomorrow. You just keep going, you output, and then every so often, I say a good way to describe it to Finn is like, every so often I'll just have a look out of the trench to see what's going on, just to make sure we're all in check, and then just go straight back down. Just keep going. Because if I don't think if we weren't like that, we wouldn't have a hope. We wouldn't be anywhere near where we are today. People talk an awful lot. Gotta do shit. Gotta do action. And we've done more bad things than good things, but the good things have accumulated to where we are now. And the bad things gotta happen in order for you to do good things. So, as a collective anyway, yeah, I want to be working towards something good more in the process of doing that now, which is nice.
That's cool shit. Will we get some quick fires before we wrap up?
Chocolate, sweet, crisps. Go.
Easy. Chocolate, sweets, crisps. I don't like crisps too much. Chocolate, easily, by far, gold.
I have my answer for that one already as well.
I hope so. I'm gonna
don't
be
spoil it now.
Morgan, you're at a sink. Do you or would you rather use a bar of soap or liquid soap to wash your hands?
That's a man.
Who uses a joke chasing thing around?
I 100% agree with you. I hate that.
Boys, it's not the 1950s.
Make your bed in the morning or don't make your bed in the morning.
Great question. No.
Really? I would have had you there.
Yeah.
I
I know,
definitely would have had
And
this.
I
You
think
make your bed.
Yeah.
I've got too much action.
Yeah.
I've got shit to do. I get up and
Too
go.
much action.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my god, that's broken me a bit that I just heard that out loud.
No, I swear to God. I was thinking about this for ages, and I was listening, like, and I actually agree with it. The fact, get up,
We were talking about
get
this
your
the
shit
other
in
week.
order,
Yeah.
make
That
your
was me and
bed.
Yuji.
Oh, me.
Well, I actually agree with the concept of it,
Yeah.
but I've got everything else in order. So I like to think I'm trying to get everything else in order. Don't worry about the bed. I'm just going.
No.
Amy makes a mean bed. Oh, she stays over.
Nike
It's so
or
clean.
Nike?
Nike. Without a doubt.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Ronaldo. Go.
Your favourite fulfill bar?
Oh.
Wow.
Caramel cookie dough.
What's it called? The salted caramel?
The purple one.
Yeah, I don't think it's salted caramel. It's just caramel. So but they also the green, the light blue green caramel is lethal. But the purple one, without doubt, unbelievable.
Sliders or slippers?
Oh,
Wow, these
I tell you what.
Because Morgan wears slippers.
No. Right, I'm on to something here. I have no joke. I have robbed 8 pairs of slippers from hotels within the last 2 months. I have this pair.
You go
They
to
are
Hotel 5.
unbelievable. Unbelievable. Your feet just
Every
float
time I'm
around.
over,
They're not
she's
too
like,
tight. They're
"Come
not
on, I got
loose.
you more."
They're just.
I know.
You can hear me flapping around the gap.
Ask them.
They're unbelievable. I also like sliders. Like I have a lovely pair of Jordan sliders. I wear them an awful lot. But in the last 2 months, I've been purely wearing slippers. Very loyal to them.
Do you prefer coaching or playing?
Coaching without doubt.
Nando's order.
Easy.
You blow the quick
yeah. That was all. I go every single Thursday or Saturday with Amy as well. Butterfly burger. It's only back.
Oh, is
No,
it?
did you see that?
That's class.
Yeah, lethal.
Class
Butterfly
action, like.
burger, lemon and herb on that. Bit of a plain Jane. Nice though. Perry salted chips, obviously, and the rice is the most overrated thing in Nando's, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's rotten.
facts. Agree.
And I get 2 things of garlic bread.
Facts. That's
Two?
You registered a little bit later. That's facts. The rice is brutal.
Yeah.
Favourite quote?
Repetition removes doubt.
Favourite book?
Don't have one. I'm on it.
Favourite movie?
Wolf of Wall Street.
Mmm.
Do you kill insects
I
like
go
this
Robbie.
psychopath or do you
Right.
take them out?
No, go
Pretty
Robbie.
psycho as well.
Fact.
Although sometimes, I swear to God, sometimes I'll be like, Morgan, sort your shit out. Just bring him or her out. but then other times, you want to see me. If it's flies, it dies. There's no 2 ways about it. If it flies, it dies.
Oh, so funny.
Come on out, quickies.
What's your favourite emoji?
Oh.
I hate emojis, definitely the knuckle.
I'm gonna start saying
The thumbs up.
I know exactly.
Whenever I tell him a joke or send him a funny TikTok, he'll go laughing emoji, laugh.
And a thumbs up.
I hate it. I hate it. It's so frustrating.
He's a geezer.
I hate it so
It happened by accident a couple of times.
I
and
hate
we
it
hated
so
it.
much. And even just the grand. No, don't, just say grand and nothing. Or knuckle. Don't give me this. I hate it. I hate it. Thumbs up. Does my head in.
Would you rather have Always Sunny in the rest of your life or Monster Camps for the rest of your life?
Oh,
wow.
Sunny.
Wow.
Oh, Monster
I
Camps?
put the monster. I just go cold turkey. I'll be. No, definitely. Always Sunny. I could not live without Always Sunny. That's not even a joke. I love it
That's,
so
I've never
much.
seen it. Once.
Oh,
I think I said that already.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Gotta get on it, man. It's very good.
Very funny.
But see, I'm all in on it. Like I'm all in. If I like something, see, I don't stray outside of that. Like I will never try anything else in Nando's. That's my go-to. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, you're a man
Tunnel
of,
vision
of,
for repetition. Once I get my habit, get it in there.
Yeah.
Do it every single day, and that's it. I stick to it.
Favorite ever football jersey?
That was right. I'm not. Again, I was talking to Ben Lynch about this. There's something weird going on here with Ben. We were talking about this, and this conversation led to the conversation about my runners. So I was saying I'm not religious to jerseys, but one thing I'm really proud about is good runners. Is what I was saying. I don't collect runners. He collects jerseys. What I collect
I collect
really
jerseys, yeah.
values jerseys.
I've loads.
Blue
Yeah,
United
you were saying to
jersey.
me before.
Blue United jersey that they won or
Away.
Ronaldo scoring.
Yeah,
sick.
the plain simple one. Yeah, very good.
You say a
There's loads of United jerseys that I rate very highly.
The shark ones.
The sharp ones. Now, I actually have a thing, and I know people love it. I'm against all this, like, bring back the retro. Some of the retro jerseys are only nice because people say they're retro. Some of them are disgusting that they say are nice. They're just not nice at all. To be honest, with you, anything that Nike make, I'm generally on board for. So,
What's your favourite brand outside of Nike?
Nike
I
Air.
don't know, man. Jordan?
Ah,
Can I say that? It's a different brand.
What about Apple or like
Yeah, Apple products are
Tesla or Rolex or
Yeah.
Gucci or whatever?
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not
Gucci.
literally Nike's
Versace
funny, that's my
shorts.
life.
Yeah,
Yeah, Versace.
You've a pair of Versace shorts.
Yeah, no, I'm not even going to get into the story about that. I said I would on this podcast. Okay, I will briefly. Essentially, G goes 250 quid. You're not allowed to buy anything else. This is it for your birthday. You're not allowed to buy anything that you would actually like to use. So you have to get something that you will never buy, but you actually will end up using. You've no choice. It's like, I'm going on holidays, I'll get a pair of swim shorts, right? And I was like,
250
that's the thing. He was like, you have to spend it on something,
It's
right?
something-
Yeah, it has
how
to
I
be-
worded it was, you need to buy something that you would never buy ever if you had 250 quid. So like a luxury item.
Yeah,
It's-
luxury
it's-
item.
More would never buy a luxury item.
No.
So, I was
I know, like,
something that you would never buy.
Nike's the most luxury thing I'll buy. So, like, I was never going to buy something. I went on to Gucci first. The swimming shorts were $2,000.
Jeez.
All them footballers in the beat that could shove it. The state of them as well. So I ended up getting these luminous yellow and black Versace shorts.
So I ended up just stating them. So I ended up getting these luminous yellow.
Hey, you will rate them.
Probably will.
Oh, you will rate them. Now, I'll see, do I have any photos of me on holidays? I probably do.
You should wear your Versace shorts
And the runners in. No, I don't. I'll bring the
Oh my
Versace.
God.
Knick-knack of the week is the Versace shorts.
Oh
I'll bring them in. Or
Can
wear
we
them.
do Knick-Knack of the Week? Please, I think it's so funny. I've been pitching it for 6 weeks. Not one of you has said anything about
Tell
it.
the people.
Harry, look into the camera.
Knick-Knack of the Week. We bring in an item and we talk about a story.
Oh, we'd actually run out after like 3 weeks.
But
But
it could be
so
something
many items.
so random. It could be something so random like, why'd you bring this in? Oh, I just found it in the kitchen here. I thought it'd be funny to bring in. There's your Knick-Knack of the Week. You don't have to go on a whole spiel about it.
You'd be.
I'm egging them on. I was
You'd
shy.
be
I shut
egging
down the
them on.
idea.
And it has the intro song as well.
Does it?
Yeah.
Knick-Knack of the Week.
Is that it?
I'll write a song if I can have it. Can I write a skit and we can...
Do you know what?
Yes.
Here, we'll do a vote. We're gonna do a poll, a bit like the Talking Bollocks, where they do
No, with a no.
a singer. Well, then vote no on your personal account
Oh,
and the T121 account. We'll do it. We'll do this. I'm going to clip this right now and say, right, do the audience want to see Knick-Knack of the Week? If the answer's no, and it's a no. If it's a yes, you have 1 week
Okay.
to try it.
I want to explain
And you have to bring the
I
knick-knack.
want to pitch it. So here's my elevator pitch to the camera again. Knick-Knack of the Week. This was invented by Gary Biggs about 2 months ago. Knick-Knack of the Week is designed to bring in any item that you want from your household, whatever it be it a personal message, if it means a lot to you, or it could be a receipt on the table. The fact is that you can tell a story about this knick-knack. It'll bring great joy to the community.
This is the weirdest thing I've ever
I
seen.
feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm in an infomercial or something.
Yeah.
Something took
Please.
over you there. Something took over
Yeah.
you. That wasn't you.
Because Knick-Knack of the Week, it's a passion project, Kinger. Let me do it, please.
Everyone vote yes, so just shuts up about it.
Right. Is that time? Jesus Christ, we're over time.
What time is it?
20 past 12.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, look.
beep, beep. Or it'll be...
Cut that out. I swear.
Not yet.
Oh.
Wait, I'll intro out.
You mean outro?
Outro out. Not
Yeah,
intro
outro
in.
in.
Sorry, Gary. Yeah.
Getting it out.
Idiot. Morgan, thank you. That was actually very enjoyable, I must
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Very enjoyable. Very interesting. Thank you all very much for tuning in today. If you could please leave an honest review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. I think you can leave anywhere up to a 5-star review, but an honest review is something that we're looking for. If you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, that's where you're taking in this content, or any of our social media pages on TikTok or Instagram or anywhere that you consume Training121 content. We also do the Training121 app, so if you do live in and around the Leinster area and you want to get involved in sessions, just look up Training121 on your App Store or on your Android stores and download the app and get involved today. I will outro it now and Knick-Knack of the Week. Vote it, yeah.
Yup.